What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another new Comic Book Day Top 10 list. Today I'm going to be ranking and reviewing all the books that I picked up for February 15th, 2023's new Comic Book Day. It was a little bit lighter of a week. I only managed to grab 10 total issues, and I did miss out on Danger Street issue number 3 from DC. I was really looking forward to it, but we can talk about it during Friday's live stream. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about books from Marvel, Image Comics, Boom Studios, and AWA Upshot. I'm really excited to talk about these books, and as always, just be aware that there's definitely going to be spoilers, but I put a little spoiler tag down below in the corner to give you a heads up that it's about to happen. And now, without further ado, let's jump into this top 10 list. Alright, here we go, everyone. Kicking this list off first, we've got coming in at number 10, this is Boom Studios. Eve, Children of the Moon, issue number 5. This is cover A, and for those of you interested in this series, this was the final issue of this volume. I can't even begin to describe my excitement when they announced another volume of Eve. I love that first one so much. The characters, the artwork, and the storytelling, it was all top-notch, and I really just wanted them to continue on with that story. But as we progressed further and further into the second volume, I just really liked it less and less. So Eve really doesn't know what to do next now that her sister's been saved, but she's some sort of human-machine hybrid. While a good bit of this issue is everyone trying to figure out if they should take the next step or not for themselves, Wexler is still working behind the scenes to save Eve without getting noticed. Well, it doesn't go according to plan, and Selene still wants to end the bear at all costs. There's a lot of heartfelt moments in this final issue, but because most of the series felt rushed, to me, it just fell completely flat. So in my opinion, I didn't like that they basically introduced an entirely new plot point in that fourth issue. It's almost as if this entire volume just read like a filler. Every issue just leading to the next one, but once we got to the next one, nothing really happened until we hit that fourth issue, where they introduced the next stage of human evolution. That was a fresh, great idea, but at that same rate, it's the 4th out of 5 issues, so they just rushed a brand new concept. I will give them credit, they left it kind of more open-ended, so they probably are going to have another volume, but to me, I'm not going to be continuing on with this series. I love the first one. The second one was an absolute stinker. I want to hear your opinions on it down below, and for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 10 this week, we've got Boom Studios' Eve, Children of the Moon, issue number 5. Up next at number 9, we've got Marvel's Hulk, issue number 12. This is cover A. Now, here's a series I have not had a lot of positive things to say about, but you know what? Donny Cates isn't on it anymore. Ryan Ottley has taken over on the writing and the artwork still. I really enjoyed the last issue, and I like this one too. He doesn't have a lot to work with because they canceled the series, and it's going to be wrapping up with issue number 14, but so far with what he's done with it, I think he's doing a good job leading to the end. There is a lot going on in this 12th issue. Monolith is still trying to convince the Hulk that he's the rightful ruler to Hulk Planet, but what she doesn't realize is that Banner is actually in control of Hulk's body. She thinks if they can just release the Hulk from whatever tech is attached to him, his thinking will change. In the meantime, we've got Banner, and he's still struggling with the Mind Palace as well. He's losing control, and Titan Hulk is trying to emerge and take over. Banner realizes this, and this issue is him trying to gain just enough control so he can make it far away from the planet before he potentially destroys everything. While I haven't had a lot of positive things to say about this series, from what Ryan Ottley's been given, I think he's doing a pretty solid job wrapping it up so far. These last couple of issues have been my favorite issues of the series. I really like what he's done with it. I mean, I know it's still Donny Cates' story, but I really like his writing style, and his artwork has continued to be fantastic. His artwork is honestly my favorite part about this series, but with these last couple of issues, I mean, this one, Samson's finally getting a little bit more involved. I mean, hell, even Doctor Strange was in this issue. It looks like we're going to be gearing up for this big Hulk-Titan showdown. I'm excited for it now, and for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 9 this week, we've got Marvel's Hulk, issue number 12. At number 8 this week, we've got AWA's Trojan, issue number 2. This is cover A. I was a huge fan of that first issue. I don't remember where I put it at on my top 10 list that week, but I was a really big fan of the story. It was definitely a little bit more on the slow side, but we got a lot of backstory on those characters, and they left us on a huge cliffhanger, and I was so pumped for the second one. But now, after reading this second issue and realizing that it's only going to be a 4-issue miniseries, not so sure about it. Now, our story is still following Nessa and Dirk. However, with this one, we learn that Nessa isn't being completely truthful to Dirk about why she needs to meet with Mr. Capo. Turns out the entire story was a lie, and she just wants to get revenge for her and her people. Instead of jumping straight into it, this issue gave a backstory on Dirk and how he got into his line of business, and some of the stuff it actually entails. So while it was a little bit more of a plot-driven issue, I'm glad that we learned Nessa's real motives and Dirk's origin story. Now, with all that being said, I still thought this was a really well done issue. I love that we finally got a backstory on Dirk and kind of his upbringing, what led him to be where he is today. We learned Nessa's real motives. We got to see some of the other other legends as well, but it was another plot-driven issue that didn't really get more into the main plot of the story. We just learned more of their backgrounds and everything about these characters. We're already halfway done with this series. I have faith in AWA. They've almost never let me down. The only series that I really didn't like was New Think, and even a couple of those issues were just okay. But this one, I love everything that's going on with it. I just hope they give it a proper ending. Just my opinions. I want to hear yours down below, and for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 8 this week, we've got AWA's Trojan, issue number 2. At number 7 this week, we've got Boom Studios' House of Slaughter, issue number 12. This is cover A. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think this issue was really good, and that's really surprising to me because I haven't really enjoyed almost any of the issues for this entire House of Slaughter series. Those couple in the middle with Edwin, I thought they were well done, but at that same rate, they were just kind of standalone issues, and we haven't seen them since. The main series focus has been Jace. That's what the first arc was. That's what this newest volume is as well. And after the latest issue, I was like, I'm just going to drop the series. It's not good at all. I love Something is Killing the Children just so much. One of my favorite series, but this has been a big letdown. To my surprise, I actually really enjoyed this issue. This issue picks up with Sonny missing, and Jace and the gang are looking for him. We get introduced to Jolly, a white mask that has a past with Jace. This issue goes into their history and them growing up with each other. While we did get some flashbacks, a lot of the issue is mainly her grooming Sonny into potentially becoming either a white mask or just part of the butcher's shop. She really got to talking with Sonny about his nightmares and even let him in on killing some monsters, something Jace would not do. She seems sweet, but 100% has something sinister going on with her. As much as I've dogged on this series in the past, credit is due when it's earned, and I think they did such a great job with this issue. I really like Jolly as a character, and they've got such an interesting plot in their hands. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with it. I've been telling myself for so long, just drop the series. It will never be Something is Killing the Children. And Something is Killing the Children is one of my favorite series, definitely my favorite one from Boom Studios. I really didn't like the first volume. The two with Edwin were okay. The first one we got again with Jace, I did not like it at all, but now this one introduced that brand new plot point. I'm excited to see where they go with it. I'm going to be continuing on with this series. Hopefully it gets better. Now, for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 7 this week, we've got Boom Studios' House of Slaughter, issue number 12. Up next at number 6 this week, we've got Images, Art Brute, issue number 3. This is cover A. This has been such a fun read so far. Honestly, way better than I thought it was going to be. I'm a huge fan of Ice Cream Man. You guys already know that. Every time I review one of those issues, it's pretty much a lock for top 2, top 3 spot. Haha, on the other hand, pretty skippable in my opinion. Some of the issues were okay, but for the most part, I really didn't think it was all that good, so I had high hopes going into this one. It is only a 4-issue miniseries. I didn't realize that, but man, we've got our main characters. They're jumping in and out of the art world. There's just so much wacky and wild stuff going on in this series. We got Art Brute, Manny the Mannequin, and Margot, and they are finally starting to get some clues together to figure out what's going on. Art Brute and Manny jump back into the art world to talk to Vox. He's the guy from the Screaming Man painting. And then we've got Margot, who's doing detective work, and she uncovers something odd that's going on at the Kinsville Center for Creative Arts and Play Therapy. While they're all off doing their own parts of the story, we actually get to see what's going on at the Kinsville Center and how messed up things are there. Still, not too many details are uncovered in this issue, but it did a really good job setting up the 4th and final issue. It sucks that this is just going to be a 4-issue miniseries, but to me, they've done such a great job with it so far. Phenomenal storytelling, great artwork as well. If you don't like Ice Cream Man or Haha, you're not going to like this one either. But every one of these issues brought a new element to the series. There is so much stuff going on in this series right now. A lot of different characters, a lot of different plot points, but none of it feels rushed at all. To me, in my opinion, I think this series would benefit from a couple of extra issues, maybe 5 or 6 at the bare minimum, because they've got an entire art world that they really haven't done much with yet. And there's so many characters, and I just want to see more of it. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 6 this week, we've got Images, Art Brute, issue number 3. At number 5, we've got Marvel's The Invincible Iron Man, issue number 3. This is cover A. This continues to be one of my biggest surprise reads from Marvel. I am really enjoying it, and it's so much better than I thought it was going to be. The artwork is great. The storytelling is top notch. We're going into every one of these issues with a mystery, and they're giving us so much details and action, and none of it feels rushed at all. In this issue, Tony Stark arrived at Zhong Wei's house right after he was murdered. The first half of this issue is just a flashback that shows their time together and how their relationship grew over the years. It really added this extra layer of depth to the series, and it made us, the readers, grow a small attachment to Zhong. It really turned him into a real character, and it made his death mean something instead of just another character death in the series. Outside of that, in the present time, Stark is frustrated and flustered trying to figure out who's behind all of the murders and the actual company takeover. There was some action in this issue, and it was pretty on par with a lot of the other ones. Guys, this is definitely Marvel's sleeper series in my opinion. I have thoroughly enjoyed every single one of these issues so far. The artwork is great, the storytelling is fantastic, and it's a mystery. Every time I finish reading one of these issues, I just want to pick up the next one. I always look forward to it. If you're looking into getting into a brand new Marvel series, I highly recommend checking this one out. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 5 this week, we've got Marvel's The Invincible Iron Man, issue number 3. At number 4 this week, we've got Image's brand new one, The Last Barbarians, issue number 1. This is cover A. Folks, I went into this one completely blind. I had no idea what this series was going to be about. All I knew was that it was the same creative team that's on Hellcop, also from Image, and I'm a huge fan of that series. I started paging through this one. I thought this was a no-brainer. I gotta grab it. Right off the bat, we get introduced to Sylve and her brother Shadow. This issue does an extremely good job telling us who these characters are, and for the most part, they're complete backstories. Their parents died in a tragic fire, although it seems like a mysterious figure was behind everything. We don't learn anything about that though. But now she's struggling to find work and pay for her lodging. A lot of this issue was spent with her trying to find money, so slightly slow in that regard, but around the halfway point is when the story really starts to take off. She meets a man named Falk, and he's not looked at highly in the community at all. No guild wants him, but I mean at this point no one really wants Sylve either, but he's offering her work. We don't know what the job is, but Sylve is warned that she shouldn't be doing business with him. There's some other mysterious characters that we get introduced to as well, but man, a lot of awesome stuff is going on in this first issue. Overall, I think they did a great job with this first issue, and I honestly really enjoyed it. I love the artwork. I thought the storytelling was top notch. Obviously, if you're a fan of Hellcop, you gotta pick this one up as well. That one deals with demons and other realms. This one's more of kind of a medieval style of a book. Definitely check it out. It was a fun first read with a big mystery behind a lot of the characters. For those reasons, we've got coming in at number 4. This is Image's brand new one, The Last Barbarians, issue number 1. Next up at number 3, we've got Image's 8 Billion Genies, issue number 7. This is cover B. Man, 8 Billion Genies. What a fun ride this one's been. I love the beginning stuff. I will admit, as the series progressed a little bit, it kind of went in different directions that I wasn't completely sold on. They do a ton of time jumps, and this one covers like 8 different decades, so a lot of stuff is going on. We get introduced to so many new characters, but overall, still an absolute must read. Like I was saying, this issue covers 8 decades of our main story. I won't lie to you. I really enjoyed this issue, but I didn't like the constant year jumps. It felt like there were so many good ideas, and really none of them could properly develop into something more. We saw all of our characters grow old, and even most of them die. But because of the plot constantly changing and new characters being introduced, we lost that main core that we grew to love in the beginning half of the series. With all that being said, we got tons of action, and we really got to see what having a wish meant in their later years. So now, despite me not being a big fan of the time jumps, that's obviously the direction that they went with this story, and I think overall they did a great job with how they presented it. We still got to see a lot of our main characters, how they got older, how wishes just became super important. This issue in particular, you really got to see what having a wish in the later years really means. So let's talk about this one more down below. I don't want to spoil too much, and for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 3, we've got Image's 8 Billion Genies, issue number 7. Up next this week at number 2, we've got Image's What's the Furthest Place From Here, issue number 11. This is cover B. This series continues to kill it. I absolutely love What's the Furthest Place From Here. After reading this 11th issue, I cannot believe from how the series started to where it's at right now. This one read a little bit more like a standalone story, but man, what they are doing with this one is just such a fantastic read. This issue completely focuses on Oberon. If you can recall, he was almost killed at the carnival quite a few issues ago now, and this issue is basically what he's been up to this entire time. He has no family with him, and the family known as the Wild has been keeping a close eye on him. He's just trying to survive on his own at this point, but as the issue progresses, you see him get a little bit closer with all of the Wild. We learn how they live their lives, but then we get left on a massive cliffhanger. This was another great issue to the series. I absolutely love What's the Furthest Place From Here. It is easily turned into one of my favorite series from Image Comics. I still can't believe that I almost dropped it after the first issue. Now, I stand by it. I'm still not a huge fan when they have a new chapter every couple of pages. I feel as though it takes away from the overall story that they're trying to tell. But man, I can't argue with these results. I'm loving everything that they're doing. It's executed so well. I love all of these characters. It's 11 issues deep. I personally would wait for a trade paperback at this point, but you need to read this series. It's just so good to miss out on. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 2 this week, we've got Image's What's the Furthest Place From Here, issue number 11. And here we go, everyone. This is it, my number one read of the week. We've got coming in at number one this week. This is Image's brand new one. We've got Torrent, issue number one. This is cover A. This is a brand new superhero series from Image. I was at my shop. I started looking at it. I thought, man, another superhero series. Do I really want to add another one to my list? I've got all these ongoings from Marvel. I started reading a ton more DC stuff. I do like a lot of the superhero books from Image, but I'm already reading basically the entire Radiant Black stuff at this point, and I thought, we'll see. I started panning through it, and I thought, I'm definitely going to give this one a shot, and man, was it worth it. Our main character is Crackerjack, and we get introduced to her and another superhero, Slipstream, right at the beginning of the issue. The issue is pretty standard early on, in my opinion, as far as a lot of other Image superhero stuff goes. Fighting bad guys, a mom with a family that has a secret identity, and then she does what she can to keep her home and work life separated. Not soon after this series begins, it starts to separate itself from all the other average to above average superhero stuff from Image, and it really takes off. The other superhero, Slipstream, gets injured during one of the big battles, and when Crackerjack heals him up, she tells him to stay off the leg, but he doesn't do that. He goes out, tries to fight some villains, gets captured, and then reveals who Crackerjack actually is. They end up going to her house. They come for her, but instead of actually kidnapping her, they kidnap her son and kills her husband. This series is about to get crazy. It's another superhero story, and I was about to skip out on it, but the writer did an incredible job setting up this plot. We got backstories on the characters. It made us really feel for her family. So when that happened towards the end, I was like, what? I'm so excited. I need to read the next one. I got to tell my friends about this one too, because I'm not sure I know a lot of people who picked this one up. A lot of my friends were thinking the same thing, like, man, I'm already reading Radiant Black, a lot of other superhero stuff right now. I might skip out on this one, but man, this is a must pick up. No doubt in my mind, this one's coming in at number one this week. We've got Image's brand new one, Torrent, issue number one. And that's a wrap on this week's top 10 list of books, folks. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to comment down below what your top read of the week was and which ones you think I missed out on. We'll talk about these books a lot more in depth during my live stream tomorrow night, 5 p.m. EST. I hope to see you all there. It was a blast last week. I've got 2 more videos sitting off to the side here with more of my comic book content. Click on one of those and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.
Hey there, Dynamite fans. Come check us out on The Experience this Wednesday, February 22nd at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have all your favorite books, whether it's Dynamite, DC, or Marvel, or maybe more. We'll see. I know all the guys are going to be here. Maybe I'll pop in for a minute. Nick definitely will, I'm sure. But we'll talk about all our favorite stuff. Ant-Man. Just saw Ant-Man in case you missed us on Monday. We can talk about it again. No spoilers. Let's be respectful. So it's going to be a great show no matter what. Remember, the 22nd of February, it's a Wednesday, 6 p.m., only on The Experience. Can't wait to see you.